Hey everyone, and welcome to part 10 of creating a C# RPG game. So in this tutorial I'm going to be teaching you guys how to set up a line of sight system so that if our player and our enemy are on an opposite side of a wall or an object, we want to make it so our player cannot attack that enemy and that enemy cannot attack our player. So we're just going to be drawing a simple invisible line cast from the player to the enemy, and if there's any interference with an object, then we want to make it so our player cannot attack that enemy. So what we're going to do first is just select any object. We're going to go to layer up here, and we're going to add a layer. Now I named my layer block line cast. You can name it whatever you want. This is going to be applied to objects that we don't want our line cast to go through. So if it casts from our player and it hits something between the player and the enemy that has that layer, it's going to block the line cast from reaching, which will in that case say that we're out of line of sight and we're not going to be able to attack. So just click back on your object and add that layer to the layers. Now you can do this for multiple different objects. You can do this for multiple different things, ignoring raycast and stuff, but for now we're just going to be using this variable. So we can go jump into code, and we're going to add in two new variables, which are going to be a layer mask, so raycast layers, and a boolean in line of sight. So this one's just going to keep track of true and false if we're in line of sight or not, which is going to be applied to our attack system. And then this is just going to keep track of, when we fire that line cast, and we want to make sure that that line cast is not hitting any of these layers. So when that's set up like that, we can just scroll down, and you just want to add block line cast to your raycast layers. So if we scroll down to our code, we're going to be adding this in, let's see here, within our selected unit does not equal null. So if we do have a enemy selected or anything, we're going to be calling this code. So we're going to be creating a raycast hit, which is just going to be keeping track of our raycast. And we're going to be calling a line cast, and we're going to be calling the line cast between the enemy, or whichever enemy is selected by the player, and the player itself. And we're going to be doing an out hit. You can use this for telling what you've hit, or we can just use the raycast layers. So if it hits anything in our raycast layers, we're going to be blocking the line of sight. So we're just going to be changing in line of sight to false. Or else it's going to be set to true, means we're in line of sight of our enemy and we are able to attack them. Now the last thing that we need to do is go to our actual attack function, and in here we're going to be saying that, okay, we have an enemy selected, we're within distance and angle, and we want to add in our line of sight. So we just want to make sure that there's no object blocking us when we're going to attack. And that's pretty much all you need for doing this. Now we can just jump in game and I can show you guys how this works. So I'm going to go and select my enemy, and you're going to see that it's blocked right now. If I go around here, it's going to scroll down. It's going to be not blocked because we're in line of sight. And if we go out of sight, blocked, not blocked, blocked, not blocked. And even if we turn around 360, the line cast is not going in any direction. It's just going from the center of our player to our enemy, and it's just making sure that there's no object in that way. So we can also test this really quick by going to our enemy, and you see that the current HP is 100. Keep it selected. And I'm just going to do my basic attack. Now, normally we're within all the constraints to be able to attack, but the only thing is, with the line of sight restraint, we cannot. So if I go around here and I start attacking, you can see that the health is going down. If I go back over here and try attacking, it does not. Go back over here, it goes down. So that is a simple way to set up a line of sight system. It's very good for making it so enemies and players cannot be exploited in any way. So maybe the pathing is not good on an enemy and they get stuck behind a wall, and you can just sit behind the wall and attack them. This makes it so you have to go around the wall to actually attack them and whatnot. So it's a pretty simple system to set up. You could use this for NPCs or enemies or whatever you feel like using this for. You can be very creative with this, but yeah, that's just a basic way of setting up a line of sight system.